Hello everyone, with UK Games Expo 2022 just around the corner, I thought why not dive through a lot of what they're going to be showing and try and pick out my favourites that you might want to check out as well. First of all, let's have a look at Akropolis. I think that's probably roughly how it is pronounced. This is a tile placement game where it looks like the board is nice and colourful, made up of hexagons, and it goes out and upwards. That's quite a nice idea, the way it is going to be layering up, increasing apparently in value as you go higher. I really liked that in, say, number 9 or Llama Land, so we're very excited to see what Akropolis offers. The next game I'm excited to get hands on with, and this will be at the show for demo but not purchase or anything like that, is Northgard Uncharted Lands. Now, I haven't actually played the video game that this is based upon, but I do like the look of that video game in terms of the strategy to it, and it looks like a very interesting adaptation for the board game. I like the way the tiles look like they come out as you're exploring and make up these territories, and you are sort of building out this medieval fantasy world via this sort of tile placement. There's it looks like there's dice rolling, deck building or something along those lines. It looks quite interesting and is one I definitely want to try out. Another game on the Hatchet Board Games UK stand that I want to try out is Mandragora. I think I may have pronounced that correctly. Now, this has actually been recommended to me by Adam from Board at Home, one of the board game shops in the UK, and it does look pretty cool. It's got this sort of very circular setup where players are going to be moving around to actually collect ingredients and such to then cast spells. It's quite a sort of interesting theme, and I like the sort of that central working way, almost a sort of rondel, but it looks like everyone is interacting with the same one again that I want to check out at the convention. Moving over to the Blue Orange Games, probably at the Coiled Spring booth, is Block Ness. Now, this released last year, and I just haven't got my hands on it. Basically, it's a very light game where you are sort of weaving these block Nesses between each other, using these monster segments, and they're increasing in length and height, and it just looks like a decent bit of fun where you're trying to make up these connections. Again, not one that's going to be blowing everyone away, but it looks like a fun experience to play at the convention. Another game that will be on show from Coiled Spring, potentially at the yellow booth, is Get On Board New York and London. Now, I have played this one and I can highly recommend it. It's a flip and write, roll and write style game, but you are flipping cards and placing routes down onto the central board. And it's got a lot of player interaction. Normally, roll and writes, flip and writes don't have that interaction. And when they do try and do it, it kind of feels a bit lackluster. This is all about that player interaction as people start sort of causing traffic jams by claiming the routes you wanted to claim. You can still claim them, but it's going to cost you points. And it's an interesting one where you try and work out when to spend sort of points in terms of taking the hit on traffic jams. Highly recommend it. A lot of fun, this one. The Quacks of Quedlinburg is a fantastic game, there's no doubting it. So I'm intrigued by the new sort of family-friendly racing version of Quacks of Quedlinburg, Quacks Co. Again, it's not one that I think will grab and take away from the original Quacks of Quedlinburg, but a family-orientated one, it could be good for those times where you want something a little bit different, maybe something a little bit lighter for a family, and it's a race, so it's not completely the same, and you're still pushing your luck. Going from family to very not family in Caesar Seas of Rome in 20 minutes, I really want to try this or Blitzkrieg, which is World War II in 20 minutes. I've heard so many great things about that game, and the fact if it does actually play in that shorter time, at the moment I'm not getting huge amount of times for big long games. If it is a game that sort of can pull off a war game area movement, chit pulling sort of feel in such a short time, Wow, I really do want to give this one a go. Next up we have Dice Theme Park from Alley Cat Games. Really like the look of this one. It's a theme park, so it's got a brilliant theme straight away. It's got dice. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of dice, but there is a lot of manipulation of those dice in this game. And if it's anything like what I've heard about Dice Hospital, where it's all about them sort of ticking down over time and different things like that, well, this sounds very, very interesting. Again, it's got tile placement and some worker placement via those dice. And worker placement and tile placement are basically my favourite things in board games. So, hands down, I want to be trying this one at UK Games Expo. Like I said, I don't have too much time at the moment for long games, but there is something about the vivid colours. Yes, it's a heavy game, but Bitoku, I'm not quite sure how it is pronounced, but it does look like a fantastic sort of game. At the convention is somewhere where I will have, obviously, the whole day, or days if you're going for longer than I am. So if they are demoing Bitoku at the Cosmos stand, it's definitely one I would like to watch a little bit of and maybe get hands-on with. One of the other games that I really do want to see at the Cosmos stand is My City Roll and Write. Now, I'd love to see My Island, the sort of main sequel to My City. Really loved the light legacy experience of My City. It was a really pleasant one where you're just using these shapes on your board. It felt kind of like a roll and write, so this really does make sort of a sidestep make sense. And I just really enjoyed going through that campaign, and it looks like there's multiple levels for you to sort of work through in a bit of a campaign, but you can still play them separately. I really like the look of this one. Maybe it doesn't have the stickers and all that stuff that you'd expect from a legacy game, but it does look like it evolves over time as you're sort of playing through the map sheets. So very much looking forward to My City Roll and Write. The other thing is, you're not going to be able to demo this one at all, but if they have it for sale, I'm almost certainly going to pick up the next Advent calendar. Now, this sounds completely crazy considering it is May and it will be June when it is UK Games Expo, but me and my wife absolutely loved the Exit Advent calendar where it was sort of the skiing, snowy sort of mountain, and you sort of go in and you're going through one door each day like an Advent calendar, so there's 24 little puzzle rooms for you to open, look in, peer in, around, use little bits and pieces that come out of those doors, whether they're cards, string, bits of wooden dowel and stuff. Really enjoyed that, and it was something that bit fun and a little bit healthier than chocolate. So Advent calendar, if there is the Exit the Game one, I will be wanting to get it. Moving over to the Sinister Fish stand, I've not played Village or Streets, but the third one in that series, it's going to have worker placement, is Moon. Now the theme alone gets me interested a little bit, I'm not going to lie. The idea of sort of building out on the moon, now you've already got me interested. And then there is those cute little moon rover meeply things to actually do the spaces, to trigger your actions and stuff. I don't know too much about it. I've heard a lot of good things about the previous games in the series, and well, the theme is catching me for this one. Really excited to see a little bit more about Moon. Of all of the games on this list, TacTiki from Drawlab Entertainment was one that I have looked past numerous times when trying to sort of compile this list. There's so many games at UK Games Expo, and this looked pretty lame, I'm not gonna lie, but looking into it a little bit more, it has some real Stratego vibes where it says it's like a memory game, and that is because, like in Stratego, when someone's moving their piece around, you don't know what it is. 5s beat 4s, 3s and 2s, but 1s will beat a 5, and so on and so on. So you get these interesting bits where you know, a 5 is your most powerful piece, but it can be taken down. So if you see your opponent's 5 charging across the battlefield towards you, and you don't know it is, but when you actually fight and reveal, you'll know it's a 5. You can try and remember that that piece is a 5 and try and send a 1 towards it. I really do enjoy Stratego. I think that still stands up as a solid game. And this has some very chunky pieces. I want to give it a go to see if it does capture that feel, because I think it might. And it feels like it could be played very quickly for 2 players. So that's TacTiki, not actually sort of maybe doing itself justice there, but I want to try this one out. Moving over to DV Games, they have a number of epic games like the Detective and the Deckscape series. Very excited to try those. In fact, I should be getting a review copy of one of the either Deckscape or Detective games, so I'm very excited about that. One of the games they're going to be showing off though is Wonderbook, which it's basically like a pop-up game, pop-up book game. I love the idea of that, and it looks incredibly awesome from the pictures visually, and I don't know too much about it other than, you know, it's got some sort of adventure, it's got some cooperative sort of aspect because you're working together as a group of adventurers, so you know you are winning or losing, it's fully cooperative, and then there are scenarios, these chapters, these stories that you're going to experience via this pop-up game. I like the look of it. Visually, it captures me and gets me interested, so I will be wanting to check this one out at DV Games. You may have seen on the channel the Azul Master Chocolatier has just been announced, but they are going to be showing Queen's Garden, the latest released Azul game, off at UK Games Expo. Now, I've actually just got this one, so I personally won't be checking it out at the convention because there's not much point for me, but I think this is going to be one you want to try before you buy, because it feels different from the other Azul titles in terms of, yes, it's got some similar bits and mechanics in terms of, certainly to the latest one, Summer Pavilion, where you've got to sort of pay a set number of things to put something on your board, which kind of is there from all the others, to be fair. It doesn't feel like Azul. I know that sounds... It's got elements of Azul, but if it wasn't called Azul, most people would say it maybe is slightly reminiscent for them. But one to try before you buy Azul Queen's Garden. So that's all of the games that you should check out, but what about an event? Well, I just want to highlight that Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules is going to be doing a charity playthrough event of Just One, the sort of very fun party word game. Some of the players are going to be chosen from the audience to play and stuff like that. Like I say, it's all for charity. There are some tickets remaining. It's £5 a pop for the tickets, and it's on the Saturday at 7 o'clock. So that might be something fun for you to do in that evening, because that's pretty much, you know, when the convention is sort of wrapping up for the day. And last but not least, the official map might have just been released, but as usual, it's pretty bare. So if you go over to offlinegamer.co.uk, basically you can use their annotated map. This is so superior to the standard one. I do not understand why they do not annotate the official maps properly. Basically, you can go there and they're basically going through and labelling all of the stands with who's actually there. So useful, especially when you're trying to work out how to get to your next the next game that you really want to see. Anyway, that is UK Games Expo 2022, a load of exciting games. What have I missed though? What is the game that you are going to try and see first, or just want to get hands on with at the convention? Let us know in the comment section below, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.